Lady K, are you ready?
I know she ready.
Key, are you ready?
Stay ready.
Bayou Diva, let them know that you're ready.
It's Thursday night, they at it again. You got it locked into the ladies den. It's Lady K, Kiki too, plus the Bayou Diva. You know how they do. From breaking news to favorite foods. She was popping in the city, hot topics too. Advice for your issues if you need to grab a tissue. Just wait till a break, they may say something that'll fit you. Amazing guests live on set. You can laugh to your heart's content. They appreciate the love cause it's truly a blessing. My name's Saga Boss and I approve this message. Ain't no room for hating, enjoy the entertainment. You are locked in to the ladies' den. So there's no confusion, they love what they're doing. You are locked in to the ladies' den.
The Ladies Den, Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell them Saga sent you.
What's up, everybody? Hang on, y'all. Like I said, y'all know I am not technically inclined and don't know how to work these things, but I'm learning, I'm getting a little better. But okay, there we go. Yeah, gotta get, I ain't never So, thank y'all for tuning into the Ladies Den tonight. As you guys know, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we are digging. Oh, hang on, gotta move my computer over. We are digging. Oh, shoot, sorry. So we are digging just a little deeper into mental illness and the different forms of mental illness. I know last week we talked about hold on, y'all. And then y'all hang on one second. Hold on. Okay. What's up, Kiki?
What's up?
Like I was saying, we were talking about mental health. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we basically told you, I don't know where my other phone is. I gotta get it, but we were. Okay, turn it off. And can you hang on, y'all? I'll be right back. Let me grab my phone. I need my other phone. I thought
What's
I
up,
brought.
Willis?
I have it here with me. Just turn it. You turn it off, please.
If you're just now tuning in, this is Mental Health Month, as most of you are already aware.
Okay, I'm back, y'all. So I wanted to find this so I can give you guys the correct information. So we were talking about mental health. We talked about a few different types of mental health, the signs and symptoms you can look for, ways to support anyone that is dealing with mental illness. So again, there's a difference between a good mental health and a mental illness. We're going to have a therapist and counselor on. She's going to come in at about 7:20 to really break down. So the rest of the month, we're really going to be breaking down each mental illness. So tonight, therapist Vinay Butler is going to be breaking down anxiety and depression. So we're going to dig real deep into that anxiety and depression part of mental illness. As you guys know, we're going to go on back to the beginning. Okay, Nisa, hey. We're going to go back to the beginning. You know, every week we feature a different beverage or we just have a little sippy sip to drink. Tonight I am going to be drinking on again my White Russian with Jason Momoa's vodka. I've been running today doing stuff. So it's kind of chilling right now, but I'll pull it out in a minute. And that's what I will be sipping on tonight. My girl Kiki, I don't know what you're drinking on tonight, baby doll.
I got a little Tito's and a little orange juice.
We drinking tonight.
We're gonna drink a little something tonight.
We drinking tonight. Okay. All right. Again, I'm apologizing publicly for not making your event. Me and my girl Tammy had a little sidebar about it because we could have been there. But hey, it is what it is. I heard that it went off very well.
It was phenomenal.
Videos and
it was amazing.
Pictures. So tell us about it. Tell us about it.
It was absolutely amazing.
As always.
Yeah, this one, like I said, I knew this one would hit differently. And then I had my daughter actually performed. She came straight off the highway, drove 365 miles just in time. She had a little delay, she would have been there earlier, but she came just in time. She did a beautiful performance. My sister-in-laws, they came in from Mobile as well.
Okay, you had the whole family.
Yeah. And then of course, Siobhan was amazing as always. That's her second time speaking for me. Lucinda, with her words of encouragement. It was I'm gonna say a packed house because
it was from what I saw.
Had some of my other people, been there, we would have had to pull out more chairs and tables. So I just know that's only God just saying, it's up from there. It's
Keep going.
It's up from here. Because it's my baby and it just means so much to me to celebrate our mothers, the ones that are angels that are no longer here earthly with us. It's so I'm still like full. I'm still overjoyed with those that came out, those that were unable to make it, for whatever reason. I definitely appreciate the love and support that everyone has given me from day one. Like I said, being that I lost my mother at the age of 8 years old, so it's been rough, and Mother's Day and her birthday are some of the hardest times to deal with. But since I've been able to speak out about the situation, what happened with her, and being able to celebrate and honor our angels, it has been so therapeutic for me. It's like I said, I've been able to, not get as emotional, because the emotions will come because, and that's what I want everybody to, when they think about, it's a brunch, missing our moms, the first thing they think about is, oh my God, it's going to be sad. It's going to be somber. It's going to be this. No, that's not what it's about. And anybody that's been there, sis, you've been there.
Yes.
Attest to what it's about. It's about celebration. And, and the finale, which is the biggest thing, is the releasing of the balloons in their name. We write their names on the balloons, we say their names, and we release them to the heavens. And when I tell you, each time these balloons, when we release them, they actually come together.
They still doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God.
They did
it
again.
Me out the first time when I was like, they all sticking together.
Regardless of how they release them, once they're up there, those balloons literally come together. And that is just our angels letting us know that we got you. You know what I'm saying? We are here for you. It's a blessing to be able to celebrate with those of us. It's a blessing for those that have not lost their mothers to be able to come in and join in and celebrate with us. It's a beautiful thing. This year made my 4th year So congratulations to that.
Yes,
And
congrats. I bet you I won't miss another one.
next year, oh my God, it'll be, Lord's willing, it'll be year 5 when I tell you I'm going in. Shouts out to Missy B's Catering.
Oh, shout
food
out,
was
Missy. Oh, wait, one more.
Shouts
One more.
out to my vendors. Cake
Mr.
Man.
B. You know, I had to find it.
Right. Cake Man was in the building.
All
Tina
right.
with her cocktails were in the
Mhm.
building.
Okay.
Lock Essentials, my sis Natasha was in the building.
Okay.
Like I said, Bo showed up. Bo Ward showed up. He was, the beautiful
Oh,
poet.
wow.
And
Yeah.
he wasn't,
Okay.
he got put on the spot, so he did drop a few gems. Like I said,
Okay.
water. I am like say I am still on.
I see you. You still on cloud 9. You're like, I don't know what to say. I'm just so excited.
I'm still on cloud 9. So
That's
thank
good.
you so much for the platform for me to be able to speak about it. And it's just it's a blessing to have you here, sis, speaking on mental health, the mental illnesses and the awarenesses of it. Because
grief plays a big part in that as well.
That hits home to me as well. So appreciate you for coming out, and I'm gonna turn it over.
Absolutely. Congratulations on your event.
I'm gonna put this out there because this is my first time seeing you. This is my first time meeting you. But just know next year I may be inboxing you for you to be a part of my Mother's Day, pre-Mother's Day brunch.
I will be honored. That's
and I have not even heard you. I have not even heard you speak, but I just had a little tap on my shoulder.
Wow.
And I'm just being obedient to the word.
Oh, there you go. That's right. That's right.
You will be amongst.
Wow.
The men.
I receive that. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm done. I'm done.
So, first of all, we gotta say, Vinay, what you drinking on? You gotta have your drink.
I got a little bit left of my sangria. So that's
yes.
Who's your sangria by?
California Roots is the Target brand.
Oh, wow.
Target brand. Yeah.
Okay, California Roots.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm drinking White Russian tonight. I haven't got it yet. I'm gonna sneak out and get it when Miss Vinay. Somebody named Janice Murray says, "Hey, they know you."
Janice, that's my girl right there. That's my girl.
So as everybody who's ever just tuning in, I don't know what happened. I'm a nurse. I never thought about any forms or any part of mental health until recently. Last year when I did my first mental health retreat. And I just been I just been sticking with it, man. It's just so much that is going on around us that we have to pay attention to our friends, our family. This is mental health, mental illness, not health, mental illness. This is mental illness because we have learned to cover it so well. And we smile and we talk and we're happy and we give hugs and, oh, I love you. And we do love those people. But when we get home behind those closed doors, it's something totally different. So the reason why I have Miss Vinay on here, last week, I kind of broke down the different mental illnesses. And we only covered a few, we talked about anxiety, we talked about depression, and something that I learned, depression is the #1 mental illness in the world. It affects 300 million people, and the majority of those people are women.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I didn't. I really thought anxiety would have been above depression. But it's not. Depression is that #1.
And I can definitely see why.
Yeah, and depression looks like us, like right now. Not saying that we are depressed, but depression looks like us. It looks like I'm good, girl. Yeah, I'm cooking, I'm going out, I'm at the beach. You do all this thing, but that depression is still inside. Yeah. So it looks like us every day. But I'm going to read you guys really quick a little brief bio on Miss Vinay. It says Vinay Butler is a passionate and dedicated transformational coach and therapist with over 10 years of experience in empowering women to lead fulfilling and authentic lives. Her therapeutic approach is grounded in a deep understanding of the unique challenges women face and her commitment to providing a safe and supportive space for personal growth and empowerment. And listen, just listen at her bio. It says women. It doesn't say people. So that even lets you, not saying that she doesn't talk to other people, but it just lets you know that it's a confirmation of what I found out, what we, myself and Kiki found out. And Nisa found out last week that women are the ones that mainly suffer with depression. Her primary focus is on empowering women to navigate life complexities with resilience and confidence. She specializes in addressing issues related to self-esteem, life transitions, work-life balance. I need all of them. Relationships and personal development. I need all of that. Okay. She is particularly passionate about helping women overcoming societal expectations, and I definitely need help with that, and embrace their individual strengths. She works with women of all ages and backgrounds who are seeking empowerment and personal growth.
And she's so pretty too. She's so pretty.
Yes.
Thank you.
So welcome. Let's welcome Ms. Vinay Butler.
Thank you.
So just to let you guys know, the reason why I wanted Miss Vinay on tonight, Vinay is amazing. Yeah, and let me tell you, we've never met in person. We've been talking over the phone, and I already knew she was going to be one of my good friends from the first time we talked on the phone, because we talked on the phone for about an hour. I already knew she was going to be one of my good friends. And how I found her is looking for a therapist for my mental health retreat. And this is how I found Miss Vinay. But I asked her to come on tonight because, like I said, we talked about the different forms of mental illness. And I actually want her to, yes, she is. Honey, let me tell you something. Miss Janice, girl, I wanted to shout when I got off the phone with her, okay? Yes, she is. She's a very powerful young lady. And you can just feel that off of her energy. But again, the reason why I asked her to come on, because we gave you the different mental illnesses. And before she gets into breaking down the depression and anxiety, because they normally go hand in hand, I want her to tell us the difference between having a good mental health and having a mental illness.
Okay, pause right there.
Okay.
My daughter is asking Vinay, do you speak to women that don't live in the same state?
Yes.
Because she's out of state. She's in Alabama. And my daughter has actually started a circle of sisterhood.
Oh, wow.
And when I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
But she's doing similar to that, just getting women together as a sisterhood. And she's had two amazing sessions where one of them where they did plates and they wrote out issues, they wrote out things that they wanted to get rid of spiritually. They wrote them all on plates, you guys, and then at the end they broke the plates. Like the axe throwing and all of those different forms of relief.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I haven't had a chance to get home yet because when she's doing them, sometimes she does them during the week or a weekend that I have not been able to be there, but definitely to support her. But that would be a beautiful thing if you did travel. You said you do to go out of state for you to be able to speak to those young ladies.
She does travel because she will be in Miami at my retreat. She is already booked.
I will be there.
I just need to send her the lift funds, but yes, she's already booked for Miami, so she will travel wherever you need her to
Misha, Miss Vinay says she does, so I will definitely, Mommy will get her information.
Actually, when our what you call it? Well, who the people that run stuff? Our tech person, Nisa, when she come on, she'll drop Vinay's information. If you don't mind us sharing like your number or your emails or whatever, we'll drop it in the chat so you guys. And if y'all have any questions while she's speaking, just drop it in the chat because we're always reading the questions so we can ask her the questions for you. But again, so I want you to go ahead and start and tell everybody what's the difference between good mental health and a mental illness, because everybody think mental health awareness. So if your mental is healthy, then you're really not having a mental illness, but you still have to know the difference. So can you break down that difference for us?
Absolutely. So what I would consider good mental health is if you have a good relationship with self. So if you have a good relationship with self, then you would have the awareness to know where you are, how are you showing up, what's coming up for you, and you'll be just self-aware and mindful of how you're presenting in the world. Now, when we're talking about mental health illnesses, we're talking about very severe stressors, distress. It is very noticeable. If it is not noticeable and it come in like you're not aware of it, like as far as your thoughts and your feelings, then it's going to show up in your body. So we want to recognize what's going on within self, right? So I'm getting a lot of headaches, backaches. I'm just feeling wore down. We want to check in with self because there is something going on there. Our body is aligned up with our mind. Our mind is aligned up with our soul. Everything plays a part. And so if one piece of us is kind of breaking down, you're feeling a little weak, not like yourself, then we want to check what's going on up here because my body only aligns up with what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So the reason why I say good mental health is a good relationship with self is because if I have a good relationship with self, then I probably will have good thoughts and positive thoughts going on up here. And then my body is feeling good and it all kind of just rolls together.
Okay. So, well, being a nurse, I know that stress can kill you.
Absolutely.
And I know also being a nurse, I'm very aware that stress takes a toll on your body as well.
Yes.
Like you would be hurting and pain in places where you probably didn't even remember you had, and it would be from stress. So, is it really just, and of course, I know your brain operates your whole body. So I know that even thinking positive and thinking that, I can do this, I can do that, will that really, because this is your field now, you got some babies and I'm OBGYN in primary care. So, but even when you're thinking, I could do this or I'm okay, does it really work? Because sometimes we say that, and that goes back to what I was saying. This is depression. This is anxiety. So if we're thinking positive and we're saying all the right things, but is it really the point where, okay, so we're in with self, and now we fall out of that mental illness category, and now are we in good health?
Right. So along with the positive thoughts, it doesn't just have to be positive thoughts. It has to be, you have to assess your belief system because I might be having positive thoughts all day and showing up like, hey, I'm great, I'm doing fine. But in my mind, I'm not really believing that. And so my body is still not managing stressors well, and that's showing up physically.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. So now let's go ahead and really dive deep. I know we had talked about depression, and then you said, well, let's do anxiety too, because they go hand in hand. So I want you to just kind of just talk about depression first.
Sure. Okay.
And then we're gonna talk. I just want you to kind of go in. I don't want to keep asking questions, so I want you to kind of go in, and I want you to break down depression,
Mhm.
break down some of the signs and the symptoms, that other things that we can look for besides me just showing up with a smile, or me just being like, "Oh, girl, I'm good." If my girlfriends ask me, "How you doing, girl?" I'm okay when I know I'm not.
Mhm.
So I want you to really break down some of those signs and symptoms and what we can look for. And then we're going to go into anxiety with the same thing. And then at the end, I want you to kind of tell us, like, how can we support our friends and what can we do for our friends that are suffering through this? And the main thing is, how can we get our friends to tell us
Oh, that's
something
good.
is wrong?
Yeah, that's good. That's
Let
good.
me, but before you do that, and I know Quana, you want to go into depression first and then anxiety, but let me ask,
Mhm.
Mhm.
what do you think, what brings on what? That's the
Mm.
question. Does the anxiety bring on the
Well,
depression, or does the depression bring on the anxiety? And I'm asking that because I know they go hand in hand, but
right.
Mhm.
something has to trigger, one has to trigger the other.
Well, not necessarily. So, well, let me define anxiety first.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
So, anxiety shows up as persistent worry, concern. In the body, it shows up as nauseousness, stomach
Mhm.
aches, headaches, heart palpitations,
Mm-hmm.
nervousness. So, anxiety is excessive worry.
Yes.
I'm worrying about something. Why? I'm
Yes.
worrying about something because I feel threatened. My nervous system feels threatened. And so there's a threat here, and I no longer feel safe. So when I don't feel safe, now I'm worrying. What happens when we experience anxiety? If you experience anxiety, then you know your mind goes to worst case scenarios, and it goes
Yes.
on and on and on and on and on and on
Yes.
and on. You go down a rabbit hole
Mhm.
there,
Been
right?
Yes.
there.
And the more you think about it, the more it intensifies, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
It is a horrible, horrible beast because it will intensify the longer you ruminate on excessive worriness. Um,
Mhm.
so anxiety is actually really good for us. We want anxiety. Let me tell you, what we
Really?
want anxiety. We
Really?
want anxiety in life-threatening situations. Because what anxiety does is it pumps up my adrenaline
And it
and it
alerts
makes
you.
me go into fight or flight. I'm in survival mode, baby. I'm about
Yes.
to get out of there or we about to fight,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what anxiety does is puts us in position. That's why it goes to worst case scenarios because it's trying to let our mind know we need to fight or we need to
Right.
flight. We need to
Yes.
book you on out of here, right?
Mhm.
But what happens is anxiety comes when there's no life-threatening situation, right?
Mm.
It's not always a life, a do or die situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It comes up when we're thinking about our children, thinking about our relationship, thinking about our next day at work, all the to-do list. It comes up then, right? And so
Yes.
now it's like, oh, I don't really want to feel anxiety when I'm doing day-to-day functions. That's when we need to begin to manage anxiety. Okay. Um,
Okay.
and the way that well, I can get into all of that, but I just want to give an overview of what anxiety is.
So let me ask you another question before we go any further.
Okay.
So does the anxiety does that fall in that category next to panic attacks too?
It could. If
It
it
could.
worsens, it can turn into a panic attack where you feel like you can't breathe. It really does feel like you are about to die.
Die. Yep, been there. Mhm.
That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um, and it is your body's way of saying alert, alert, alert. It's like your security system. You know how you have a security system in your house and it goes off when
Mhm.
there's an intruder. So that's what anxiety does. It's like alert, alert, alert. Something is going on that's making us feel really unsafe right now. I feel threatened. I feel vulnerable. What's happening right now? And that could lead to panic attacks. Absolutely. But panic attacks typically come when when the anxiety is very heightened. Everybody doesn't always experience panic attacks.
Okay. Okay. Well, you go ahead and just dive into whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. So how do we manage anxiety? Ways to manage anxiety is one, we need to figure out why our security system is going off. What is the alert? What do we need to tend to right now? And then we need to understand the threat. Is this really a threat? Is this just worry? What is this thing? What is the fear behind this thing? And what is my relationship with fear around this thing?
Okay.
Because the more I have fear involved, the more my anxiety is going to go up. Right? So I want to be able to understand first what's the threat, right? And then what's the fear? What's my relationship with the fear behind it? So how the intensity, the frequency of the fear, right? And then be able to assess within self, is this really a threat or is this not a threat? Is this really a threat?
Okay.
Because what your body is looking for it to do is to calm it back down, to regulate it again. So now we need to create security within the body. We need to create that internally and emotionally. What does that look like? Does that mean I have to affirm to self, like, I'm safe right now? I'm okay right now? Do I need to leave? Right? Do I need to set a boundary? So it just depends on the circumstances, what's going on. But you want to manage anxiety. You want to be able to understand what the threat is, my relationship with the fear behind the threat. And is this really a threat or not? And what I need to do to create emotional safety for myself, because I need to affirm and ensure self that I am indeed okay and I am safe.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's the anxiety. So let's get into this.
Okay. Depression looks a lot different.
It looks a lot. Well, before we go to depression, I want to ask you something about anxiety. I know you said like the way to kind of deal with anxiety is to figure out what the threat is. But what if it's not like a really, I guess the thoughts could be a threat because you said it's worry, right? So we're worrying about stuff, but it might not be something that's going to be a physical harm to us.
Right.
It's just like we got a lot on our plate. We worry about the kids, we worry about the job, we worry about the house, we worry about the bills, we worry about the car, we worry about everything. So just those worries alone could cause anxiety. So in those cases, for me, it's a threat to my health, but it's not something that I fear. So how do you distinguish, like the two, even though it's a part of anxiety, but if anxiety is like that fear, that threat, that you need to find out like what it is, and like you say, your relationship behind it. But what if it's just those things that I talked about that doesn't involve a person or anything like that? It's all about you, but it's about your worries about these particular things.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because financial security, work-life balance, like all of that, those are the foundation of all of that is security and stability. So if there is some issues in any of those areas, that is going to be a threat to my safety.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a threat to my safety.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah.
Because I'm lacking security. And our bodies need to feel secure and need to have a sense of a safety. And we have to create that for ourselves. So when we feel the worry come up, you want to ask yourself, all right, what am I worried about right now? what's happening right now that I may be thinking about excessively. If you don't know what the worry is, think about your thoughts. What am I thinking about? What's constantly on my mind? How does my body respond when I look at the bill list? How does my body respond when I'm looking at my to-do list, or when this phone call comes through, or when this person walks my way? What's going on for me? Because our bodies will always tell us, but then you need to understand, all right, why am I worried about this thing? Because that's going to get you the understanding to why it is a threat to self now.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then I need to ask myself, what precautions do I need to take to make sure I create emotional safety against whatever that thing is, whatever the threat is?
Okay. Makes sense. See, that's why you're here, because I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think about it like that. And even with you're saying that, you know, my mind wasn't going there. It was going like, okay, threat, somebody is somebody.
Right.
And not really thinking about, I'm doing it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So see, that's why we need people like you, because we do it to ourselves and we don't really know that we're doing it to ourselves, maybe. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we worry about things that we probably shouldn't worry about.
And I was right there, definitely right there with you, you know, every word that you said, because that, I mean, it hits home. Like you said, knowing is half the battle. So you think you're sitting there putting up, worrying about everything that you just said, Quana, you know, all the bills and all of that. We're building those. And in general, I mean, generally speaking, that is the person. You know, it's the person within us that's causing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what we say, that you have to stop and take a look at yourself and say, self say,
Right. Better talk to yourself now. You better talk to yourself.
That is that's amazing. That's an amazing breakdown, because everything that you just said, I've been through lately.
Oh wow.
And like you say, the overwhelming feeling of the pressure of, you know, that your chest, and it's like the worrying of, you know, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? The fact that, you know, you're feeling one type of way and the situation come up, and then, you know, you instantly go into worry,
survival mode.
You instantly go into what am I going to do? Or what, you know, what? And like you said, in that moment, we're really not thinking about stop, you know what I'm saying? Put a halt on it because of, you know, what the situation is. But, you know what I'm saying? That analogy of saying, hey, when you're faced with that, that's what we have to focus on. When you're faced with those type of situations, because they're going to come. That's life. We have to ask ourselves, hey, is it worth you stressing out? Is it worth you losing your head? Is it worth that anxiety? Is it worth that? You know what I'm saying? Is it really worth it to you for you to be at this level? Thinking of, okay, you know what? Let me pause. Take a breath and say, okay, so Key, your bills are due tomorrow. The money is not there. So what are you going to do?
Right.
You're gonna, you know, as my daddy say, you know, you're gonna shit or get off the pot. So, and that's being real.
Yeah, because typically we don't take the pause, especially women.
I was getting ready to say that. That's the problem.
Sit and take the pause. We are problem solvers. We are fixers. We want to help. What can I do? I just need to know the problem. Let me just get to it. Let me hurry up and we're not pausing and asking ourselves the questions to get back in tune with ourselves to see what's really happening here. Because if we're walking up a mountain and we see a bear, right? I'm gonna need anxiety, honey. I'm gonna need the adrenaline to be going. I'm gonna need the reason why you feel nauseousness is so your body can spit up all the things that's going to slow you down.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wait. Rewind.
Yes.
Rewind.
Listen.
Say
Because
that
that's one of
again.
the main things that I suffer with when I'm having my anxiety. That's
Yeah.
the first thing. That's when I know I need to calm down because I suffer with panic attacks too. So I know that I need to bring it down before it gets to that. And that's the first thing. The
Say
nausea. And
that
I'm like, why
again.
is my stomach? But now I never knew.
Yeah.
So the stomach gets in knots so that you can use the lavatory, get everything out. So I run faster, honey, because I need to get out of here because it's a bear. So our
Gotcha.
body works for us. However, it gets mixed signals. Sometimes the subconscious mind doesn't always know, like, this is not a life-threatening situation. All it knows to do is alert,
Yep.
feeling unsafe, there's
Yep.
a threat, fight or flight. And we have to teach it. That's not life-threatening situation. It's not do or die right now. This is just me doing my bills. And I need to take a pause and I need to assess self and I need to create emotional safety for me. I am okay in this moment. We are fine in this moment. This is what we're about to do next. Walk yourself through the steps. And your anxiety doesn't just go away immediately. No.
Right.
Anxiety slowly
Yeah.
calms down. And what you have to learn with anxiety is that don't pay attention and try to label anxiety. Oh, this is anxiety. I know what's happening right now. I know what's happening right now. And I hate this feeling. I don't like this feeling. What's it going to do? It's going to intensify the
So
anxiety.
you're giving it life. You're giving
Okay.
it
Yeah,
life.
this is what this is. Let's keep this rolling. Let's keep this going. What
Yeah.
we can do is you can validate that it's anxiety first, right? But then now you take back the power and say, I am safe in this moment. Our body doesn't have to respond like this. I'm going to take some deep breaths. I am safe in this moment. You got to start talking back to yourself so that the subconscious mind can say, oh, okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay, we good. Yeah.
We good.
Okay. I hope y'all writing these tips down because y'all getting some free tips now. Free tips on how to deal with
dropping
this.
nuggets, man. Dropping nuggets. I've been looking for my pen for the longest. I'm like, oh, I can't.
And also, we also, even though we're talking about women in this particular situation, but men are not exempt from anxiety. Men are not exempt. Hey, T-Bump, and that's why I said that because our world-renowned photographer, Mr. Tracy Bumpers, is on tonight. And I just want to also let people know that men suffer too. They suffer too, and theirs is probably like, Lord, my wife, she's counting on me to do this. My girlfriend's counting on me to do this. My kids are counting on me to show up. So they have anxiety too. And it looks the same. It probably looks the same. I don't know. Does it look the same in men, Bené?
It could feel the same for men, especially with the worry. However, society has taught men that it's not okay to express this worry.
And we talked about that last week too.
And so typically what we see in men is that they suppress. They just push it down. And they will show up and say, I'm good, everything is fine. But they have a huge role in the household. They have a huge role in society, but society does not allow them to express themselves and express where there's some issues or there's some struggles. And so they, unlike women, we vent. I'm going to call my girlfriend after this. I'm going to call my other girlfriend after this. Men don't get that same opportunity. They have to sit with it, not validate it within themselves, and press it down, which is why we do see a lot of men suffer through a lot of health issues more than women. Because when we suppress all those stressors and all those emotions are not meant to stay in the body. Emotions are meant to be pushed out, to be expressed. It's energy, right? But if we keep it within our body, it stays stuck in the body, and then it creates diseases and illnesses.
Yeah.
Because that is stress. Yeah. And that's what stress does. Right. So I feel for the men because I don't think it's fair that they don't get to be human. And they don't get to be their authentic self and say, I'm hurting. I'm not okay. And it's not okay for another man to come up behind him and say, I feel you. I'm going through the same thing. It's not often seen because society doesn't condone it.
Yeah.
So,
And we talked about that. Well, I briefly kind of just gave the overview, but now we're breaking it down. And we talked about that last week again because what I know is a lot of women and not only men, we don't get help because, especially in the African American community, it is said that if you get constant therapy, you're crazy.
right.
We have to stop saying that to our kids. We have to stop saying that to adults. You don't have to have a mental illness to talk to someone because sometimes everybody don't have that person to talk to. My mother is not here anymore. I talked to my mom. She's not here anymore. I talk to my girlfriends, but it's a limit to what I'm going to say to them.
Mm.
But my mom, we talk about everything.
Yeah.
But they have this stigma on the African American community. Oh, she constant girl, she crazy. A girl, he crazy. We have to stop that. We
Yeah.
definitely have to stop that. Stop
You're,
saying that. Stop making people
yeah.
feel like they can't get help.
Mm-hmm. And we have
So,
to understand the context behind that, right? The background behind that. For generations and generations, our ancestry, they had to be hush hush. They had to keep it in the
yeah.
house because
Mhm.
outside it was not safe.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the same message got repeated from generation to generation, where now mental health is trending, right? Like it's the thing to
Mhm.
do. Like this is what we do.
Mhm.
It's always like that. And so we have to now say this is an unhealthy belief system and that behavior was modeled before us. And now we have to say no to that. Let's create a new behavior. And the new behavior is it's okay to prioritize yourself. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to seek support. Doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means that you would like somebody to partner with you through some life transitions. And that's okay for everybody. So us understanding the background behind why that even became a thing is because the environment before was so unsafe. So everything did stay in the house, right?
Mhm.
But now as we're learning more and we're understanding more about like mental health and emotions and trauma and the effects and the impacts of that on our bodies. And we want to be able to say that does not work anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That frame of thinking does not work anymore for our family. It is okay to share this information with trusted individuals
Right.
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 space to be able to share this with other people.
Wow. Okay. Now let's jump into the major one.
Okay,
Let's talk about depression and what it looks like. And you can break it down just like you broke down anxiety.
sure. So depression is sadness, hopelessness. It is a state of dispiritness. And what I mean by that is it's despondence. There is a lack of energy. There is a lack of feeling. This might be showing up physically as I don't want to. I can't. I'm not interested in the things that I used to do anymore. I feel bogged down. I don't have energy. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm isolating. That's what depression looks like. Now, for Black women, depression looks like anger and agitation and irritation. And don't you short temper, low tolerance. That's what depression looks like in women. It does look different in Black women. Um, and we want to understand that depression is really suppressed anger.
Hmm.
It's suppressed anger that has not been expressed, that has not been given a voice. It's suppressed anger that turns into hopelessness. Because if I'm angry, and nobody's listening, situation is not changing. Won't I become hopeless? Won't I feel like there's no solution? Wouldn't I feel like there's no point in this? Won't I become apathetic? Won't I become indifferent about things? So depression is suppressed anger.
Wow.
Now
That's
that
interesting.
that very
You
very
see, I'm
now
like, what?
everything
Okay,
now
wow.
everything that you said I was in agreement with. I'm in agreement with everything, but everything I was with you until you said suppressed anger. But
Yeah.
to break it down is understood
Mhm.
why. And like you said, and the fact that it's so they look at it different in Black women
Mhm.
than any other
Yeah.
nationality. You know,
Mhm.
when we're depressed, we have to be that
Yeah,
girl.
because imagine what tired and fed up look like.
Oh, yeah. Well. Mhm.
Yeah,
Wouldn't it be anger?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, because I'm tired. I've been saying the same thing. I've been doing the same thing, and nothing's changing. Now I'm tired
yeah,
and fed up. Now I'm hopeless. I'm just gonna give
yeah,
up.
yep.
Mhm. But Black women, we are very expressive. So, baby, you gonna know.
So yeah, and then
You know, right? So you're gonna know when I'm a little bit more irritable.
yeah,
I don't have a tolerance for a lot of things that I may have had patience for before because I'm tired. I'm sick and tired.
yeah, sick
So
and tired.
that goes into depression.
But why? I guess I'm feeling like I guess I'm really trying to figure out the different because I'm hearing you,
Mhm.
but I don't think I've ever been depressed.
Mm.
But as I'm listening to you, I can recall a time when I'm like, you know what, y'all, and you, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's, I ain't doing it no more. I'm over it. I'm
Yes.
done.
Yes.
But that was the anger part. But for me, it didn't feel like depression. It didn't feel like I didn't want to do it anymore, but I didn't want to do it anymore for certain people that made me feel that way.
Right.
So for me, it's like, was I depressed and I didn't know it?
Mhm.
Or was I just an angry Black woman, like they want to say about all Black women, when
Right.
we express ourselves?
But
Yes.
You know,
I'm glad you said that.
yeah,
Because
but wait, but when you say that, and you've said that before, you said that you don't think you've ever been depressed before because of X, Y, and Z. But again, what does depression look like? You know, we've explained what it could be, but like you're saying, those what does it, you know, we walking around, like you said, we walking around looking again like everything is fine.
yeah, like this is
I
depression.
mean everything. I
Like,
look like,
hey,
I mean,
Miss
depression looks
Shay,
like
this is
depression looks
depression.
like
Yeah.
you and me, and you know, depression looks like all of us.
Mhm.
So to
Mhm.
be able to say those things where you were, you know, we say angry,
Mhm.
but it's still, it's that's a depressive state. Man, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
you,
and we also have to understand the other part to it because anger is a secondary emotion.
Right.
Under anger is disappointment and sadness.
so anger, you have the levels here. You have the anger.
Is up here,
Uh-huh.
but I'm really angry because you hurt me.
Yes.
I'm
That.
really angry because I'm disappointed in you. I'm really angry because that saddens me. So
Mm.
anger is a secondary emotion because once I've been sad for so long, it now turns into anger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
It now
And so that falls under that category of depression. So answer this question for me. Are there different types of depression?
Yes, because it's levels to this, right? So there is severe depression where we're seeing a lot more of suicidal ideation. So that's severe where I have no energy. I have no feelings. Like everything is completely depleted. I have a moderate level, which is more functionable, right? But I'm snappy. I'm exhausted. My eating habits may be poor. My hygiene patterns may be lowering down. So I'm not going to get my hair done. I'm not showering, things like that. So that's moderate. And then low is a situation may have occurred that caused some sadness, a breakup, a loss of someone, things that will naturally cause anyone to feel sad, right? But when we're in the low depression, it's manageable, right? We want to catch ourselves where it's like, how long have I been in this state? And the first thing that you always want to pay attention to when it comes to depression is how people start showing up. They will show up a little differently. They will look different. You will notice that maybe this is a person who always has lip gloss and earrings and hair done and jewelry, but you see them in sweats. You start seeing maybe like their hair not being done. Little small things that somebody else who doesn't know them might not pick up on, but you know them, and you're like, it's a little different.
Right.
It's a little different. So hygiene is typically the first to go. And you want to pay attention to, are they eating? Are they sleeping? And then you want to get into, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Yeah.
Because even if they say that they're okay, their body language is going to tell a different story.
Absolutely.
Because it's like the mental, you're coming out of your mouth to say, I'm fine. But because you ask that question, automatically the security alarm is going to go off and become defense. So the whole body is going to shift to where you will say, girl, I'm good.
And you're absolutely right, because we do need to pay attention to people's body language, because a lot of times when you say, hey girl, how's it been? How's it been going? And they say, I'm good. They'll shake their head while they're saying,
that was
right. Well, now
that was it right there. That was period. Yes.
Right. You may feel like a freeze in their body, or you may even see them dissociate a little bit. I'm good. Stare off. Look away. Those are all signs that we want to pay attention. Girl, what's going on? I know you're saying you're good, but doesn't seem that way. What's going on? Yeah, so body language is a huge indicator. I can see a lot more in someone's body language than what they're willing to tell me.
Yep.
And see, then that's when that question comes in that I asked you about. How can we get someone to tell us something is wrong? Because we know, but we can ask and they'll still be like, girl, I'm all right. I told you I'm good. Because I've been like, look, girl, I'm good. I told you I'm okay.
Right.
Now you're about to piss me off. Stop asking me. You know, so, but how do you get someone to really, and I don't know if it's a person or a therapist, but how do you really get somebody to say that I need help? I'm not doing okay.
Okay. So the one thing that I would do first is create a safe space.
There you go.
You must create a safe space, because I'm not saying anything about I don't trust you.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Nothing.
I don't trust you. The second thing is you have to meet people where they are. And by that, I mean, if they're not willing to share with you, that's okay. Maybe you slide or email or text them some resources. It might not always look like a conversation, because a person may not be willing to share the information. But what you could do to still be supportive is, hey, I'm praying for you. Do you need prayer for something? Hey, I ran into this therapist, or hey, I ran into this mental health wellness fair. Just push little things in there without really saying, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. You want to create a safe space where they feel like, and if you have built rapport with this individual, they probably feel like you're a trusted individual and may be willing to share, but that's not always the case, especially when we're talking about vulnerable things. Because especially in the African American community, we're supposed to be strong Black women, superheroes all day, every day, 24/7. And it's not okay to take off the cape. How will you look at me if I took off this cape?
Right.
How would you look at me if I told you I'm not really okay and I'm faking? Will you think I'm weak? So it's a lot of different things that come into play. And so
Yes.
that you are creating a safe place for individuals to feel vulnerable enough to open up and trust that you will not share their information. So no gossiping, and you want to make sure that you also meet people where they are. If you're seeing resistance, all right, that's it. I'm not going to ask anything else about it. I can just slide you information. I can just let you know, like, hey, I'm going to prayer Saturday morning, Sunday morning. You want to join me? You know what I mean? It looks a little different, so you're not being forceful, because if you get resistance, you're going to get increased in resistance if you keep asking.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to ruin the safe space.
Yep.
Eventually.
Wow. Oh, Lord have mercy. You unpacked a lot.
So
A lot. And go ahead. You got a question?
Go ahead, because I can hold this one, because I got a lot to say in this question, but go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, we just had a couple of new people come on, and we have therapist and life coach Vinay Butler on. And as you guys know, we've been talking about Mental Health Awareness Month. Last week on the show, we just told you about some of the different mental illness, some ways to support, some things to do. But tonight, Vinay is breaking down exactly what depression looks like, exactly what anxiety looks like, what those things are deriving from, and how you can take a step back and look at whatever situation you're freaking out about or having anxiety about, and things of that nature. So y'all just stay tuned in. We're gonna go back to little things, because I have a couple of questions. And most of you guys that just came in, you came in at the end where she was saying the different levels of depression. And on those different levels of depression, everything looks different.
Mm-hmm.
So my concern was, like, I have a friend I know that is going deep within this right now. So I just wanted her to also, tell us what's a safe way to go to a friend. And even if it's not a friend and it's somebody you see all the time, I wanted to know how we can get into a safe space of helping that person, or even finding out what that person is going through. Y'all, this mental illness is so real.
Yeah.
It's so real.
Very.
And it is crazy that we're talking about this, because I was watching the news this morning and never thought about mental illness for kids. And Sesame Street has this thing on their page now where they're dealing with mental health with kids. Y'all, the kids are going through the same thing we're going through. So we can't forget about our kids, but we also, and Vinay, I don't know, you can talk about this after Kiki asked her question, but for parents who are out there that are listening, that might be dealing with, like for me, I dealt with a son who was bullied in school. After the bullying came the cutting. He started cutting himself because of these things. So, he was later diagnosed with bipolar. But I want you to tell us what it kind of looks like in a kid And if some of the same symptoms that we look for in an adult to try to understand that they're going through something, are
Mhm.
those some of the same symptoms that we can look for in a child?
Yes and no. So with kids, I would be and I don't primarily work with kids, but from what I have observed, it looks like temper tantrums.
Mhm.
It looks like different intervals of sleep, so not resting, right?
Mhm.
Waking up constantly, maybe some night terrors in there. Anxiety is a little bit more prominent, like you can see that a little bit more, because if the child is able to talk, maybe older than 3 or 4, they're probably expressing like concern and worry. I don't want to go to school. I don't like my teacher, or stuff like that, where you're like, oh, is there some worry behind that? Like, what's going on there?
Mhm.
Check
Okay.
in. So anxiety, you might have to watch vocabulary and language a little bit more. Depression, you may want to look at behavior a little bit more.
Okay. And the kids.
Uh,
Okay.
and with parents, ways to kind of help this is to create time with your kids, like one-on-one without, and I know this is hard. I got 4 girls, so I completely understand, but create individual time with them where you're asking, how are you? How was your day? What worked today? What went really well? Was the best part of your day? What didn't really go your way today? So that you can check in with your kids. The reason why you want to do that is because you want to help kids label their emotions. You can hear and you'll be able to tell, like, oh, that sounds like you were frustrated. Were you frustrated with that? You can kind of give them the vocabulary so that they can begin to say, frustration is the word. Because a lot of times when we were younger, we didn't have the vocabulary to know what we were experiencing. So
Right.
it's very important for a parent to be able to give their children the language to label emotions and to be in tune with what's going on with them, because they don't know how to regulate their bodies. They look to us to model that behavior. So again, to go back what I was saying in the beginning, you want to know and be in alignment with self, because if you have children, you are modeling behavior for them on how to regulate or not regulate your emotions.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she giving us some gems, some good information, especially for the kids. And I didn't think about the kids until I saw that on the news this morning. I was like, okay, I'm going to ask her to kind of address that. So, parents who are dealing with kids that are going through things, um, they go through anxiety, they go through depression, they go through all the things that we go through too, especially our young Black women. And I want you to talk about that a little later after Kiki asks her question about the societal things that we as women and young women go through, which could cause that anxiety and depression. Um, absolutely. Ms. Janet said, angry toddler turns into an angry adult.
Absolutely.
So and that's the reason why I asked, so parents can know what to look for. Because some parents don't. Back in the day when we were bad, they beat our ass because we was bad.
Mhm.
They didn't believe in taking you to the doctor and getting you some medicine because they beat your butt and we lived and it was okay. But now you can't do that.
Mhm.
You just can't. You just can't chastise your kids like you could when we were coming up.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to touch base on that. Since we're talking about adults, but I just wanted to touch base for the people that are watching that have kids
Mhm.
that are going through this depression and anxiety. You know how to handle it, or you know how to get help. But we're gonna drop therapist Vinay's information. Nisa, if you can pull that card for me, I sent it in the ladies' den. We're gonna drop her information in the chat. Reach out to her because you can ask more questions. You can set up sessions with her. She do virtual sessions.
Mhm.
So wherever you are, whatever state you're in, whatever country you're in that you're watching from, she does virtual. So we're going to drop her information in. So, if you want to get more in depth and, just set up some sessions with her and just talk to her, you'll be able to do that with her after tonight. But go ahead, Kiki, and ask your question. Sorry. You
A
forgot?
little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, no. I know exactly what I want to say.
Okay.
We touched on it a little bit last week, and if this is something for another time, let me know. But suicide is linked, and it is tied up to depression, anxiety. I don't know as much as anxiety as it is. I know depression.
Depression, yes.
That's definitely it. I'm speaking from a personal experience. But I know that because we were speaking on it, last week, and it was, sometimes we were saying that can you tell? Because a lot of times when a person decides that that's the end for them, like you're saying, that's where the hopelessness, the giving up, the I'm done with this, I'm done with that, they've taken it to that level. But also, are there signs? Because I feel sometimes that they can it can be their normal selves. They can go on living a regular, to the people
regular
outside,
life, yeah.
just going on about their regular day when they already know, they've already decided what they're going to do. And the fact that an attempt, is that what's that? I know that's kind of like touchy, but when they say attempted suicide,
Right.
and the actual doing,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, that level, because we're all sitting right here having a glorious time. We're speaking and we're doing all this, and we can close this laptop down and we can log off, and somebody, because I don't see it in either one of us, but that again, what we don't see.
Absolutely.
Right after this happens, we'll be read about in the news. So are there always signs?
That's a great question. And it is a packaged question. No,
well, before you answer that question, I want you to add to the answer. But I said last week when I was in nursing school, and of course, we took psychology. So in psychology, they taught us, and I'm an old lady, so this was years ago. And it was over 20 years ago.
Okay.
I've been in the medical field for 29 years. So this was over 20 years ago when I took psychology. And in that psychology, they said, if a person actually wants to really end their life, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to call somebody and say, I'm going to kill myself because I'm just so tired of this. Those people that want to kill themselves, they kill themselves and they leave you a note. They don't tell you, because if this is what I was taught, but it could have changed by now, but if they want to kill themselves, they're going to kill themselves. They're not going to tell anybody because they don't want the person to stop them.
Right.
They don't want any interruption as far as the actual act. But to go back what Kiki said, the signs. Now, you might see it and you might not. I don't know how that works today. But like I said, this was over 20 years ago when I took psychology.
And when I say that it's a personal, because it happened and the conversation was had. And what happened, me being a child, that's something that I have to deal with, because in hearing the conversation, I didn't know, because I'm 8-9 years old, but the conversation was had.
Wow.
and nothing was done about it. It was one of those conversations where you say, oh no, you're not, you're just talking, or it can't be that, to have that conversation with that person.
Yeah.
And not taking them seriously enough to reach out, to come to their rescue, because sometimes people do reach out for help. Sometimes people do put it in, for you to look at, if you know that person, and if you're close enough with that person, they'll the signs, sometimes the signs will show, because they're looking for help. They really don't want to do it, but they feel that, like you said, that's why we go back to the hopelessness and the just giving up, because it's like nobody's listening. I'm trying to tell you what's going on. I'm trying to let you know that this is how I'm feeling.
Right.
And if nobody is listening and nobody is paying you attention, because you're always the good person. You're always the person that's laughing. You're always the person they would never look for that to happen. So with you saying this, it seems like instead of taking that person and saying, come on now, no, you just talking. Those are the people that we need to go to their rescue. Those are the people that we need to look out for. And to, what I'm saying, and hey, let's grab hands, let's go over there, let's check, let's do a wellness check or something. Because yes, it can, and it will, and it did.
Yeah.
So Vinay, what are some of the signs, and is that from what we talked about tonight, it kind of seems like, Kiki, you got me about the car over here. It kind of seems like that anxiety triggers that depression that can trigger that suicide. So what does that look like, as far as we talked about the signs of depression? We talked about some of the signs of anxiety that we can look for. But what are those signs? Because I've being a nurse, being in the medical field, being one of maybe two medical people in my whole entire family, I'm always getting the phone calls about medical things. I'm not a doctor. They think I'm a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But what are those signs? Because I've had people in my family say, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm tired. I don't want to be here no more. I don't want to do this no more. It's too much, but they're still here. So it's almost like, should we just take every accusation seriously, or should we look for a certain sign?
That is a loaded question. And I want to just make sure that I answer this in a delicate way, because this is extremely, extremely sensitive. But it is vitally important for us to have these types of conversations. And Kiki, I'm so sorry for what you experienced. One thing I try to be mindful of as a therapist is people's language, and I take people seriously. If you are joking and you are saying, I don't want to be here anymore, I can't do this anymore, I won't do this anymore, any type of language that's telling me I can't, I won't, I'm tired, I don't want to be here, I don't want to live, I'm going to take you seriously. And I have a responsibility as a therapist to be a mandated reporter, to make sure that I provide resources and provide services for that individual. So yes, if a person comes to you and says, hey, I don't want to be here, but and they laughing, because if we do that, we use humor to get through hard things, I will still offer that person services. I would still have an intimate conversation with them individually, one-on-one, saying, and if you don't feel like you're that person, because don't try to, that's another thing I want to say, don't try to be the hero. Don't try to be the hero. Okay. If you don't have the emotional capacity to have that type of conversation, don't have that conversation. That is okay. You do not have to be the hero. You can ask for assistance. You can go call a number. You can get a resource. You can contact a therapist. There's several things that you can do to make sure that you don't have to put yourself in that type of situation. But you do want to pay attention to people's language. And again, you want to pay attention to people's hygiene, how they're showing up. I'm not going to say all the time people show that they're having suicidal ideation, because that's not always the case. It's not always the case. So I don't want to answer on that because I do not know that as a fact. And I need to do more research behind that. But what I will say is there's passive suicidal ideation, and there's active suicidal ideation. Passive is fleeting thoughts. I think about from time to time how I don't want to be here. What would life look like if I were not here? Okay, that's passive. Passive does not have a plan. It's just more fleeting about it from time to time. It comes up in my mind. Active is I think about it all the time and I have a plan. I know exactly how I'm going to do it. That's active. So that might be a question that you want to ask. If this person is saying things like, I want to kill myself, you want to ask them, is this active? Do you have a plan? Is there a plan here? Or is this just something that, and I don't want to say this and I don't want this to sound like I'm minimizing their experience, but is this passive? Do you not have a plan? Kind of probe them and to get more.
But do you really want to ask them if they have a plan? Like,
absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
That kind of feels scary to me, to ask them if they have a plan, because it's like, you're the therapist. I'm just telling you, for me, it would be like, that's like I'm just going to use somebody. That's just like one of my girlfriends coming to me and say that. And I was like, okay, well, you have a plan. And then they might be like, well, no, you know what? Maybe I need to make a plan. I'll call you back. Like, I feel like that would happen.
I'm going to say something because that was me about 20 years ago before I moved to Atlanta. I had a plan. The guy I was dating at that time, weird. We were in the car doing our regular thing. There was nothing, you couldn't look at me and tell anything because of the stuff I was going through. It was definitely tagged to a lot of anxiety, depression, because at that point in time, my life pretty much had gone as close to rock bottom as it could. I'm talking about to the point of, and if anybody, else is spiritual, I heard who I can only call the devil in my spiritual ear telling me, go ahead and take yourself out. It's better for everybody if you ain't here anyway. You ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I had a plan, and me and my then guy were just rolling around, and our normal thing would be we would hang out, and then I would drop him off, and then I would go back home. And my plan was to do it after I dropped him off. And for whatever reason, again, you couldn't look at me and tell anything. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and take you. He was like, no, let's hang out a little bit more. We gonna hang out a little bit more. And because of that, yes, Janice, it does.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say that. Yeah.
It made me like rethink to a certain extent. Like it stalled it. It didn't get it all the way, out of my mind at that moment in time. But it definitely made me delay, because then I'm like, okay, all right, well, now I can't do what I was gonna do. I'll think about this later. Like, it sounds crazy now, but I was so good.
So was that, let me ask you a question, Nisa. So did that come as a form of you being depressed in some type of way? Because I don't know if you were on when Vinay was saying that the depression is like repressed anger, right? So
Suppressed.
was
I
that
heard
a
her. I was
oh
on.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, all the levels she was talking about, I've experienced all of that. To the point to where, when I got here, I made a mistake and told Tina Bridges about it, and I got a doggone movie on YouTube right now. It's called Second Chances because
Yes.
it was
Yes.
like
Wow.
that was my
Yes.
second chance.
Mm.
Because
You right,
like,
Janice. Janice said you had a
seriously,
but God moment.
I did have a but God moment.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
for real, for real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, so if you ask somebody, do they have a plan? Do that. If it comes to you to say that, say it, because that means that you are about to possibly stop them from doing something. Like Kiki said, we get done, we shut down our laptops or whatever, something could happen next. But if you stop somebody, like somebody said, I've heard somebody say before, you might stop somebody on the street and say, hey, how you doing?
Mhm.
And you just from that, you might have made them think
It's
twice
a
about
delay.
yeah, it's a delay.
It's a delay because what he did for you, he delayed your actions because
He
you
did.
had a plan. Everything was in motion.
Yes.
And the fact
My
that you
car
didn't, it was
going
timed. You
into the Gulf
literally
of
had
Mexico.
everything timed out.
Yeah.
And the fact that he delayed the timing threw you off.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And guess what?
but it threw you off
It
to that.
did.
Well, I mean, it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. The
Mhm.
plan was, foiled. So
Right.
okay,
But
well,
guess
maybe I
what?
could did some other time, which I'm thankful to God that it didn't.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But
you hit with
that's
that
what I was getting ready to
system,
say
man, but
too. Even
yeah.
though he was evil to you and he didn't treat you well, that was still God sending
Wow.
that delay.
No. This wasn't my ex-husband.
Oh, this
Talking about
somebody
him.
else.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Wait a
okay.
minute.
Somebody else.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Wait a minute.
But it was still God, no matter who it was.
It
It was still that message from God during that delay. Because it
absolutely.
wasn't your time and
Divine
it wasn't your time.
That was a divine intervention.
Yes, it was.
And I thank God that it was.
Yeah.
Another reason why you do want to act so boldly is because we can't assess a person's desire. You can't assess a person's desire. I can't read that on somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't measure your desire to not want to be here anymore.
Yes.
To want to live. So I got to act bold in the moment and say what I got to say and have an uncomfortable conversation so that you can maybe internally assess what is my desire. Do I have a plan? Do I really want to go through with this? Because your question might in turn intrigue them to assess self again.
Yes.
Might be a blessing for them.
So let me ask you a question and look, don't none of y'all come for me because I ain't for it, okay? But I did something that I felt like I hadn't had enough. So I'm gonna just ask you, was this the right thing to do? I kind of feel like it wasn't the right thing to do, but at the same time, I feel like it was the right thing to do. So this particular person that I'm talking about, every other day, I don't want to be here no more. I just want to die. I just want to die. I don't want to be here no more. And I've talked to this person. I told this person, your life is worth being here. She's like, I don't have a purpose. I don't know what my purpose is. You need to pray and ask God, show you what your purpose is. You say you pray, you say you believe in God. You need to pray to God and ask him what your purpose is. Why are you here? What are you here for? What does he want you to do? And I've had these conversations. Now, it's been a couple of months. And I had to pray after I got off the phone with this person because it was, again, I just don't want to be here. I'm going to kill. I said, well, you know what? Go ahead and kill yourself. I got 5 black dresses in the closet. Because I'm tired of hearing about it. And when we're talking about things that can help you, and then this person is doing counseling, she's doing counseling, she's doing everything, but I'm still hearing this, and I'm at the point, and I don't, like I said, I don't know if that was the wrong thing to say, but I was like, if you're gonna do it, just do it. I'm ready. I got dresses because I'm tired. I can't continue to keep putting into you, and you don't want to believe that you have a purpose. And again, that probably wasn't the right thing to say, but she's still here. And I'm still hearing the same thing. So I'm like, look, I can't do this no more. Like, I'm tired of hearing this. I've told you what to do. You're doing counseling. Pray to God. I mean, you have all the tools that you need to help you. So I don't know why she's still saying this. And I honestly just told her, if you're going to do it, just fucking do it, because I'm tired. I got dresses. And if you want me to wear a different color, let me know now, because I'll go buy it. But that's the relationship I have with her. And she laughed. And I was like, no, I'm serious, because I'm tired of you saying this. You have a lot to live for. You got a husband, you got a house. You have a life. You have a purpose for being here. You need to ask God, what is that purpose? But stop telling me you're going to kill yourself. You're ready to die. You don't want to be here. Just do it all fucking ready, because I'm tired.
Right. Sometimes you need a bold response like that. Do you feel like that was an authentic response that you had with her?
Oh, that was all me. Yes.
Oh, well, then leave it. That's what it was.
That was very authentic.
That's what it was.
But
because again, it turns over ownership to her by saying, I am constantly saying this. Again, you put the ownership back on her. What you gonna do about this then? Because at the end of the day, we have to allow people to be people, and you have to allow people to make their own choice. And if she's going to be in this state, what you can say for next time is, I'm really tired of hearing you say this, so I'm going to remove myself. I'm going to set that. You could just set you could say it, or you could set a personal boundary for yourself and just say, when I hear her say this, because it bothers me, I'm going to go into another room, because I don't know her, I don't know the situation. But she could be looking for someone to respond and engage in conversation with her about it. I don't know where she is with that. I pray that she doesn't have a plan or anything like that.
I want to say I don't know if she really has a solid plan, but she's making a plan. Like, she's getting ready to buy her burial plot. And so she got a plan. At least this is one of the things that I know she's done, and she's trying to put her whole funeral together, and she's trying to do these things. But in the recent loss in the community that we've had a recent loss of 2 model sisters. One died of cancer, and the other one was just, something happened. So with that, she was like, I don't want to do, I don't know if I want this now, and I don't know if I want that. Because first she was like, I want to be cremated, and now she's like, well, no, I don't know if I want this. And so I don't really know how to take what she's saying, because this conversation has been going on for almost a year now.
Wow. Okay.
But the last 3 conversations we had is, I've already put my deposit on my plot. So now I'm like, oh shit. She's starting to do things.
Right.
So, and I worry because her husband works far away from the house, and she's home alone a lot. So I worry, and I'm constantly calling. It's like, what you want? I'm calling, what you doing?
Okay.
I'm about to pull up. What you doing? Like, but I can't do that every day.
Right.
So I that's why I asked that question, because excuse me, I didn't know if that was the wrong thing to say, or just like, girl.
No, I mean, I feel like if it was an authentic response, it needs to be said. And she has to deal with how she receives it. But one thing that you said is, I can't do that for you every day. So that means that you need to release that. Release that she is saying these things and, buying the plot and all that, because it sounds like you met her, right? You provided support. You tried to give her assistance. You tried, talk through things, right? So at this point, you might just want to slide a brochure on her desk about suicide prevention, or give her 988 number, which is the suicide prevention hotline, and just release it, because you don't want to get so intertwined with her stuff. Now it's affecting and impacting you, which I'm hearing you've already been doing. Right? So accept that I did everything in my power in this case. I showed up, I took her out, I checked in, I validated. There's nothing else I can do. I'm going to release this from me now. And I could pray at home for her, but you have to be mindful of your energy too, and making sure that you're prioritizing your needs and making sure that you're taking care of yourself physically and mentally, and maybe just handing over like a brochure or the number 988. That is the suicide hotline prevention number. Somebody will always be on calls 24/7 that she can get in contact with. But no, I don't feel like you did the wrong thing.
Okay.
Well, does her husband know?
Yeah, she told him too.
She
told him, and she actually asked her husband, would he help her? And he said, well, you gonna help me? And he was like, hell no, I'm not gonna do that. So it's I don't know what to think about it anymore, but what I said it. And like you said, I am going to release it because it's really starting to affect me, especially with the 2 losses that we've had. And now dealing with the 2 losses and then dealing with her I'm done. Like, I feel like I'm going into that anxiety mode about all of this, because it's almost like, girl, I'm not about to let you add nothing else to what this community is already dealing with. Like, stop. So if you're going to do it, just fucking do it so I can get it over with. I can go to the service, say my goodbyes, and get it over with. Because I can't keep doing this. And so I've been holding that question to talk to you about it, to see if I did the wrong thing. And to Janice, Janice says time to talk to a therapist. Janice, she gets therapy twice a week. She's getting therapy. She's been doing therapy for almost 2 years. So she's getting the therapy, but I think, like Vinay said, now we need to talk about that suicide prevention line, or start giving her brochures and stuff on suicide.
Is this at work? Is this young lady at work? Oh, no. Okay.
No, so she's home every day. And sometimes by herself all day. And when I know her husband's at work, I worry
about her.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just going to say I would let HR know, or because someone may be in the position there to 1013 her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that she can be admitted into psychiatric. For further assessment.
And I think that's really what she needs to do, but she ain't gonna go. She's not going.
Gotcha.
So yeah, but I think it's time for me to just release it, because it's starting to affect me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that, what I said wasn't the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So, but this has been a rough night, y'all. This has been some rough stuff. If you guys have any questions, mental health may start being affected. Loneliness is real. Yes, it really is. Her husband can send 13 he absolutely can. I don't think that he will, but he absolutely can. And I just probably need to have that conversation with him without her, to really talk to him about it. And that I have not done. But I do know she has asked her husband to help her kill herself. And he's like, hell no, I don't know what you're doing, you know. So
And now I feel just even having that conversation, it's somewhat, and like you said, you don't want to make it sound be insensitive to the situation,
yeah,
but it's
I
almost like
didn't.
attention. It's like somebody need to see me. Somebody need, like you're saying, if her husband works far away and he's always gone, she's always by herself.
Mhm.
She's in a mental state
Yeah.
of trying to. She's for help. She's crying out. She's crying out. I need somebody to help me. Help me. Whatever the
But the
situation.
therapy I thought would be the thing to help
That is,
her. Like what
that's not who
goes
she wants.
beyond that?
That's not where the attention she wants. That's not the attention that she wants. She
Right.
wants the attention from her husband, possibly. That's why she's
Mhm.
saying,
She
well,
does.
can you help me? Will you do this? Will you do that? And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And he's still going on by his business. He's still going away from work. She's coming to you because she know that you're her friend, and y'all do things together. You probably hang out or whatever. So you are being a distraction, but you are really the only one that's paying her some attention. And when you go on about your way, she's back to being her lonely self. She's back to being by herself, and nobody else is there to take on this pressure. So she has nobody to dump it on. So guess what? You're there. So she feel that Quanta's gonna listen to me. I don't care what she says. She's gonna hear me out, and she's gonna give her voice, her opinion. I don't care how she says. She don't even care. She's not even hearing the fact that you said do it, that you got these dresses. She's not hearing any of that. She's only hearing the fact that you are there. You're listening to her, for that you're giving her her moment. We don't want to say she's selling wolf tickets because we don't know.
Like Vinay said, we don't really know her. And I can't say that I don't know, because she said to me her desire to live is no longer here. So she said that word, her desire to live is no longer here. She don't even really care.
So another conversation that you possibly, if you have let me say this, if you have the emotional capacity to have this conversation with her, I would maybe even suggest medication, and for her to get on medication to help with these symptoms.
She's taking it. She's taking medication as well. So this is why I'm like, what else to do now? She's taking medication. She's doing therapy. I'm at a loss and I'm still getting the same thing. So it's almost like, do you need to find another therapist? Or maybe you need to go from a therapist to a psychologist
or
a psychiatrist.
Right. Who prescribes?
So maybe she needs to do that instead of, just a therapist and just having therapy. Janice said couple therapy, some type of intervention. She knows you're there. Her husband has emotionally abandoned her and she doesn't feel love. And and Janice, you must have been in her living room, honey, because those were her exact words.
Wow.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, those were her exact words to me.
Yep.
And you want to be careful with that, because loneliness, feeling lonely, is one of the emotions that feels like physical pain in the body. It feels like physical pain in the body, and it can be very overwhelming and very draining to experience that day to day. When it comes to the medication, maybe she does need to find a therapist, right? Also, I don't know if everybody knows this, but if you are getting prescribed an antidepressant or something for anxiety, and it's not working, you can have a conversation with your doctor and ask for a gene site. A gene site is where they swab your mouth and they find what medication
works for you.
So you be on the wrong medication too. So it's a lot of different factors here. Thank God she does have you there, but I do not want you to neglect your own mental health. I think you're being a saint and, helping her out. But also, take care of yourself too in the process, and assess your emotional capacity before addressing her.
Yep.
So, ooh, that was a lot to unpack. A lot of
Needed,
things that we
much
didn't
needed, but
know.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Vinay, before we end tonight, can you just go quickly and give us a recap on anxiety, signs to look for, what it looks like? You don't have to go in depth like we did earlier. And then
Okay.
depression and signs and what to look for, and probably just put some avenues out there how to support these people who are going through these things on a daily basis. Because again, people, we have to understand that mental illness looks like me. I'm having a bad hair day today, but it looks like me. You know, it looks like Lady K. She's smiling. That's what these mental illnesses look like.
Mhm.
And behind those smiles and behind those, oh, sis, I love you. Hey, sis, call me later. I'm checking on you. And for me, it's I'm the one that's always checking on people, but people don't check on me.
Mhm.
And I don't worry about it because I pray. My man upstairs always checking on me. But
Mhm.
I am that one that check on people. I give, I do, I whatever. But I don't get those things in return. People don't just pick up the phone and call me, but I'm that person that'll pick up the phone and call my friends and say, "Hey girl, what you doing?" "All right, I'm busy. You were on my mind. I'm just checking on you." I
Mhm.
don't get those calls,
Mhm.
but I give those calls.
Mhm.
So, sometimes it's like, well, damn. Okay, but I'm good.
Right.
I really am, because I got Jesus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, you wonder, like, well, I'm checking on people, but nobody checks on me.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
now I have to check on myself.
exactly.
And that goes back to what you were saying about the anxiety and having these thoughts, and then going back to say, you know what? I need to take a minute and let me think, and let me process whatever is going on. And I know for a lot of women, one, I'm a Gemini. We good till you screw us up, and then we done with you. We will kick you to the curb for the trash man.
Yeah.
That's a
But
lot. That's
if
the
you need
majority.
anything from us, we give our last. We do till we can't do no more. And for all the Geminis that I know, we always leave ourselves out. Always, always leave ourselves out.
Mhm.
So I just want you to kind of briefly go over those things, so we'll know what to look for, and we'll know how to address people that we're around, because we're models, we're in the industry. I'm a nurse, I'm in the hospitals, I'm in the doctor's offices, and a lot of times I see the nurses, they'll come in one day and they're like, ah, and then the next day they're like, how you doing? I'm okay. I
Mhm.
know something's wrong.
Mhm.
But when you don't have that relationship, you still need to know how to make a safe space to even talk to them, or even feel like you can pass them some information. So
Yeah.
just kind of briefly go over those things again before we end the show.
Definitely. To summarize anxiety, what you want to look for is nervousness, excessive worry, um, being overly concerned. And this typically comes from you feeling like there is a threat somewhere and your safety is being threatened. And so, what you want to do with anxiety is figure out what the threat is, become aware of that, assess the fear behind the threat, be able to validate that within yourself, and create emotional safety for yourself. With depression, that looks like aloneness, um, that looks like sadness, that looks like hopelessness. Um, it's pessimistic, it can be indifferent, it can be neutral to everything. Physically, what that looks like is body like kind of slunched over. It feels like I can't do a lot of things. I'm not interested in things I used to be interested in. I'm isolating. I'm not talking. I'm not reaching out. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. And how you want to alleviate depression, which is the loss of emotion, right? Because there's not a lot of energy when we're feeling hopeless. We want to assess where the sadness is coming from, right? If there's anger, right, it's typically sadness or disappointment or hurt behind that. What is that thing? Let's get in there. Let's assess what the situation is, and then be able to create a daily routine that involves something a little bit more pleasurable. Also, for you to be able to check in with self and affirm self with things that are going well for you, to change the narrative of, instead of everything is bad, I can't find a solution, there is no way, to this was all right today. I found a little peace in this. Gratefulness is a great starter for this, because gratefulness really produces contentment and satisfaction. So maybe you want to start you a gratitude list.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Maybe you want to start you a gratitude list, because the perspective needs to change. The narrative needs to change. So we have to find little things that we're doing, and we have to get up and do one thing. It don't have to be a big thing. It could be one small thing that you do. Maybe it's get up off the couch and put something in the microwave to eat. I have nutrients for my body today. My body is working for me today. You see how it kind of changes and shifts the narrative to I won't, to I did. I did one small thing. It doesn't have to be something big. It could just be one small thing. So those are just some things that you can do. If you see a friend that's struggling, then you want to be able to provide a safe space for her. You want to be able to check in with her and meet her where she is. If there's resistance, do not continue to probe her. Just provide space and be an extension of support for her. And whatever that looks like, invite her out, take her to church, pray with her behind closed doors, pray with her in person, whatever that might look like. Mm-hmm. Just please make sure that you're checking in with self, please. Because if you don't know how you're feeling, and that is a thing, right? Because we don't do that. We don't sit with ourselves and say, how am I feeling today? Right? Then pay attention to what your body is saying. Where are some aches and some pains? What are the physical symptoms of your body? And then ask yourself, all right, what's been going on with me? What are some stressors? What are some things that have been going on? And then be able to ask yourself some really tough questions. Become your best friend. You know, we do this with our friends all day, but we will not do this with ourselves.
We don't.
Give yourself some compassion. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some love. Give yourself some space without judgment on what you could have, should have been doing, or expectations of what you could have, should have been doing, and talk to you. Talk to you. Yeah. Talk to yourself.
Wow. And I just got to say, self-love and self-care forever. Yes, it is. I just got to say thank you so much for coming on here, because a lot of the ladies were saying this was therapy for them. This was, wait, who was it said that? Wait, let me go back. It was Diane D.D. Armstrong second said, oh, y'all had me in therapy and church tonight. Oh, wow. Excellent conversation.
Oh, my girl right there. Love that.
I just, for the rest of the month, you guys, we are still going to be focusing on mental health, because there's so many aspects. Tonight, Vinay was able to break down and get more in depth about anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
So if you know any therapists out there, I am still looking for a therapist to break down bipolar and schizophrenia and those illnesses and what it looks like and how we can help. And the same thing we did tonight, but we'll be talking about different mental illnesses. So, Nisa, can you pull up my mental health retreat? So, Flyer, I started doing a mental health retreat last year. And I wanted to do it in May this year. I was going to do it here in Atlanta, but I canceled it. And we are going to do it in Miami, Florida. So if anybody is interested in going to this retreat, you can message the ladies then, and I can send you more information. And the awesome Miss Benet Butler will be our therapist on this lovely retreat in Miami. So for those of you who know her and want to come out to this retreat, it's gonna be awesome, y'all. It's gonna be amazing. I have already secured a yoga and sound bath meditation person on the beach. Like, we are ready. We're gonna have our personal chef that's cooking all our meals for us. Ms. Bonet will be dealing with grief. On this particular retreat, we will be dealing with grief because lately we have had so much grief in this little circle that we're in. But again, I'm gonna send this flyer to Bonet as well. So I thought I sent it to you earlier, but you can either reach out to her because she'll have the information as well, or you can reach out to me, the number on the flyer for the retreat. This year it is in Miami. Next year we will keep it in May, and after next year it will be in May every year. But next year, I know I said for a couple of people that our regulars who have been listening that we were going to go to Cabo, but I have decided that we are going to go to Jamaica. Because in Jamaica, you know, they do a lot of holistic healing. Yes, yes, that's right. In Jamaica, they do a lot of holistic healing and things of that nature. So I am going to start traveling to different countries and states with this retreat because there's always something different. Somebody always has something different to deal with self-care and just mental stuff all over. So again, this trip is only $550. We're leaving from Atlanta. And all of your food is included in that 550. Your lodging is included in that 550. The meditation and sound bath is included. Like, all of that, everything is included. When you pay that 550, you don't have to spend money on anything else but what do you call that? Souvenirs, if you want to bring souvenirs back from Miami. But again, if you guys want any information, just hit us up. You can hit Benet up because she will be the therapist that will be there to do the mental portion of it. And then after that, we will go to the beach where we're going to have the meditation and the sound bath to relax us after we have cried and talked and did all that stuff about grief. Then we're going to go into a little bit of that self-care for the weekend. So y'all don't want to miss this retreat. Our last retreat was amazing. We had an awesome time. We had a lot of ladies share some things. The therapist started with childhood stuff because a lot of times we have a lot of childhood stuff that we don't deal with that we bring into our adulthood that causes issues that we really don't need to have because it happened in our childhood. It was just never addressed. So again, if you're interested, just call the number, the email, whatever. And this is under my nonprofit. I have a nonprofit resource center. So this retreat is under my nonprofit. So I try to share resources, and this is a part of the resource that I want to share with the women out there that really need just this time for themselves. So Missy, you can take it down for me. But this is Ms. Benet's information for anybody that's interested in any sessions with her, coaching. She does this awesome girlfriend party that I am thinking about booking her for my birthday before we go to the mental health retreat. So, you know, if you have some friends that you think is going through some things, and like we talked about, you really don't know how to help them, throw a girlfriend's party. She come and she have exercises and things to do, activities and things to do along with that counseling portion of whatever you guys decide to talk about at your particular girlfriend's parties. But I am really going to, I'm going to get with you, Vinay, because I really want to push this girlfriend's parties that you're doing, because again, we see people every day and they smile and they laugh and they talk, and behind those smiles and those conversations is so much pain, it's so much hurt, and it's easy for you to get 2 or 3 girls by your house, grab some wine, grab some charcuterie boards, and invite Vinay over, and they don't even have to know she's coming for that. But you can always say, "Oh, my friends here, we got some activities to do. We're gonna have a good time," because if you say what she's coming for, you might have that one person that might not want to come because they're not sure about opening up. And one thing she did say, a safe space. And when I gave my first mental health retreat, I handpicked the ladies that came to my retreat because we're all in this industry, we're all around each other, but I wanted these ladies to feel like they were safe enough to talk about what was going on in their lives and to really express that they need help with it, or it was good to get it out. They feel better knowing that I provided a safe space for them. So we're gonna get together. I'm gonna push these girlfriend parties, especially because it's mental health month, y'all. You gotta take care of your mental. And the words of one of my famous, lovely drag queens, RuPaul, if you don't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else?
Love somebody else.
You gotta make sure that you're taking care of you. We're gonna drop the flyer in the comments. We dropped Vinay's card and information in the comments. Y'all hit her up, man. Your mental health is so important. I don't know some of you guys that were on here, but I love y'all, and your mental health is important.
Very
It really is. And I don't know why God has led me to this mental health side of the medical field, because if you guys tune into us, me and Kiki, we're OBGYN. I've been OBGYN for years. Went over to primary care. So I don't know what he's trying to lead me to do or what he's telling me to do. But like my sis always say, I'm gonna be obedient. And I'm going to stick with this mental health stuff. I don't know why, and I ain't questioning it, but I'm just doing it. So we thank y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all need to go to Facebook and follow the Ladies Den. Follow us on Instagram at the Ladies Den 2023, and you can go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Ladies Den Podcast.
If you guys, we got some YouTube followers today, so we got to give a special shout out to Linda Brown.
Yeah,
she been talking, and she said she's trying to make it to Miami.
Okay, Miss Linda, yes, we would love to have
shout
you.
Out to India Walker, and then there's a handle, Big Nate Family.
Okay,
Big Nate for subscribing to our YouTube channel. We trying to build that one up.
Yeah, we're trying to build that, and we're trying to build our Instagram up as well. We, for some reason, we just have more activity on Facebook, but we're just trying to build our audience. Ladies, this is a platform that we welcome anybody. You can come on our show. Just to let y'all know, I know y'all might have heard the cussing, but we are uncut and we are uncensored.
But we are uncut, uncensored. We love the Lord.
Yeah, but I love
you heard her cry. You heard her cry.
He's working on me. Look, we love the Lord. He's still working on me. But we offer for you guys to send us things that you want to hear us talk about. Me being medical, I'm always trying to keep up with the medical months and things that are going on and things that are happening. And what I also don't want to miss this month, and we got to throw that in there somewhere probably next week, that this is Lupus Awareness Month as well. Yeah. And I have 2 family members that suffer with lupus. So we'll kind of throw that in next week as well, because for me, when you think about it, lupus plays a part in that mental too, that could cause that depression and cause that anxiety because your body is not performing like it should, and you can't do the things that you want to do. So we're going to throw that in next week as well as a part of the mental health. And we're going to talk about lupus. I'm going to see if I can get my cousin on next week because she lives with lupus every day. And when I tell you, y'all would never think this lady have lupus. She don't. She like me. We don't stop. We constantly moving. We constantly doing things. So I will see if she's available. And again, if you all know any therapist that can come on, any doctors, therapists that can come on next week, and I would like for them to break down and really talk about bipolar, ADHD, and schizophrenia, because all of those are more mental things that are happening that is not a cause of anxiety and depression. Those are chemical imbalances. So I really would like to get somebody on to talk about that. I've been looking, I haven't found anybody yet. So if you guys know anybody, please send them our way. So Bené, again, we thank you so much for being here. You gave some excellent information. Hopefully you will be getting a lot of phone calls from tonight.
Starting with me. Don't get off.
Yeah, don't go off. But and again, I really want to talk to you about doing these girlfriend parties because I think right now we really need it, and a lot of people don't understand that we're still. I think since COVID, we have more mental illnesses than we had before.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. But y'all, it's our time. We are on every Thursday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you guys for joining us in the Ladies Den, and we will see you next Thursday. 7 o'clock.
It's Thursday night, they at it again. You got it locked into the Ladies Den. It's Lady K, Kiki too, plus the Bayou Diva. You know how they do. From breaking news to favorite foods. She was popping in the city, hot topics too. Advice for your issues.
Oh yeah, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Amazing guests live on set. You can laugh to your heart's content.
That's right. Trust the process, Janet.
Because it's truly a blessing.
Good night. Happy Mother's Day to you, Janet. Thank you for tuning in.
You are locked into the Ladies Den. So there's no confusion. They love what they're doing. You are locked into the Ladies Den.
The Ladies Den, Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell them Saga sent you.
Good night, baby.